At 4ZZZ, we acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we broadcast. We pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging of the Turrbal and Jagera people. We acknowledge that their sovereignty over this land was never ceded.
And we stand in solidarity with them.
You're listening to Tranzmission on 4ZZZ, amplifying the trans and gender non-conforming voices of Brisbane and beyond.
You're listening to Tranzmission on 4ZZZ 102.1 FM. My name is Ray. I use they, them pronouns.
And I'm Ez. I use he, him pronouns.
And today, look, I'm thrilled to be in the hot seat today.
I can see you smoking in the hot seat over there. Sizzling.
Just sizzling. I'll be having a chat about some news items in a minute, and a bit later on in the show, I'll also be playing a pre-recorded interview that I did with Ori Diskett from Transitive Rag, which is a new trans journal out here in Meanjin. I'm very excited.
I'm keen.
I'm so pumped. Things that I'm less pumped about this morning is the news, the horrors. So
language, content, triggers, all those things.
Yeah,
maybe not language, but just triggers for people.
Definitely. Yeah, I was going to say definitely a trigger warning for just transphobia, especially when it comes to young people, which is the vibe I feel at the moment, unfortunately. So recently, a mother in Queensland says that the Queensland Department of Health inadvertently sent her private information to another parent, thereby outing her trans teenager. The email error happened when the department responded to the mother's request for a quote-unquote statement of reasons relating to the state government's decision to ban puberty blockers for transgender children. In the process, the government had asked several parents for very detailed medical information about their children, including name, date of birth, and whether their child is a patient at the children's gender clinic. The parent describes the experience as quote-unquote sick and unsafe, and said the level of personal detail requested felt intimidating and like being forced to out the child in order to obtain government documents. The incident comes after the Queensland Health Minister, Tim Nicholls, issued a new order banning the prescription of puberty blockers for transgender patients just hours after the Supreme Court ruled the government's first attempt was unlawful.
Also, Queensland LNP meeting proposes transgender toilet laws. Over the weekend, State Council meeting LNP on the Gold Coast put forward a range of resolutions for discussions amongst their members, including one from the LNP Women's Branch titled Use of Public Toilets and Change Rooms. The resolution calls on the state government to legislate that in public facilities where male and female toilets and change rooms are provided, so in brackets A, only biological women and girls may use female toilets and change rooms. Oh, yay, that's me. And B, only biological men and boys may use male bathrooms with a limited exception for children up to 8 years old. Oh, I suppose I could use that one too, right?
Yeah.
Why not? Although the resolution is not binding, it would not automatically become law if passed. The proposal reflects a push within the LNP to restrict access to gender-affirming facilities and services, raising strong concerns in the trans and gender-diverse community about the potential impact of our safety, dignity and rights.
Yeah, I'm not about it. I mean, I think a lot of trans people, especially in the current climate, already feel unsafe and have done for decades when it comes to just wanting to go to the bathroom. And we all just want to do our business and leave.
I don't know what anyone else is doing in there other than things that all humans have to do, which is go to the toilet.
Yeah, I'm going to the toilet. I may fix my hair. One time I have gone into the bath.
Fix your hair.
I may fix my hair.
Okay, don't go in the men's bathroom. No one's fixing their hair in there.
Oh my goodness. I've gone into the women's before, one person was giving someone else just a full-on haircut, and I was like, you know what, go off. And you know what, if that's the level of the things that are happening in the bathroom, I'm like, actually, you know what, I'd prefer to be in this bathroom.
There's only one real instance where I feel like I might be outed in a men's bathroom, and that's if I wash my hands.
It's unfortunate.
Because no one else is washing their hands.
Oh my goodness.
And then when I do it, I think people are like, what the hell's that guy doing? It's called hygiene.
It's called, look, yeah, exactly. Like
The soap is always full. I guarantee you.
That's awful.
Yeah.
I was, honestly, wash your hands, use the bathroom that you feel most comfortable using. God,
And don't be a
time.
dick.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, exactly. Just like...
Policing other people's toilet, bathroom behavior. It's weird. Just focus on yourself. Don't worry about anyone else. Just do your thing and get out. What the heck? What are you doing?
Like, I just need to have a whiz. Like, that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and also, yeah, it's good times.
It is good times. I also wanted to mention just some things I've noticed in community since the reinstating of the ban for puberty blockers in the public healthcare system for trans young people. There's a lot of discourse in community. There's a lot of finger pointing about who's taking credit and who's not taking credit and who's this and who's that within not-for-profit organizations, NGOs, activists, grassroots activists, all this. It's all, it's a very tense time. A lot of people are, we won and then we lost, and it's all up and down. It's a roller coaster of emotions for community at the moment. And one of the really big things that we need to focus on that's super important is solidarity and standing with each other. As I've said many times on Tranzmission, the transgender community is not monolith. We do not all share the same opinions about things or ideas about things, and a lot of times we don't always share the same ideas around tactics and ways that we can support community and ways that we can do direct action. However, there is one thing that we all do have in common, which is that we deserve to have a life full of joy, happiness, and the right to access our medical care, and the right to have jobs, the right to have a roof over our heads, and food in our bellies, just like any other person. And I think that's the main thing that we need to focus on in the community right now, is standing together and aiming all of our artillery at the real enemy, which is the LNP government in Queensland, which is Tim Nicholls, Christopher Foley, and alike. Those are the people that we need to be focusing our energy on, not targeting NGOs, not targeting not-for-profit organizations, and certainly not taking hits at other activists within the community, whether that's figurative or literally. It's just a waste of energy and a complete misdirection of anger. Yeah, we all make mistakes, and sometimes we say things out of frustration, whether that be online, in person, wherever. But the main thing is that we come together, we put those things down because we've got bigger fights ahead of us. I would like to call to action. Anyone who is interested in supporting community, show up to protests, sign petitions. You can even follow social media pages. There are a myriad of them that we recommend on the Tranzmission socials, at Trans Radio with a Z. Go take a look there. There's also the Meanjin's People's Pride, Trans Justice Project. We've also got, there's so many others, and my brain's blanking on them.
I was like, my brain is as well. And I think I
Meanjin's Trans Justice as well, yeah.
And I completely agree. I think that there's, we've been taught to fight for our rights, and there's that creates a lot of infighting. There's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of stress going on at the moment, and we need to remember that we're all in this together, even if we don't necessarily have the exact same views. Things can be love. As a polyamorist, love some good communication. Communicating is really important, and making sure that all of our voices are heard, and that we understand that this will be done. Like we will win.
Our squabbles will pass. There are things that we will not remember, and we will move forward. The things that we will remember is how many young people we saved, how many young people's lives we made a difference, and how much of our lives that we are proud of for the kinds of things that we do and the kind of people we are.
Yes.
Something my mum used to say to me was like, Ez, before you do something, is the thing you're about to do going to make you a better person or not?
Ooh.
And I'd like you to ask yourself that when you're in community. If what I'm about to do will make me proud of as a person, but also will I make my community proud, and will this make me a better person? That's what you should ask yourself before you start finger pointing at who's who and where your anger is going, because it's all about us being the best people that we can be, so we can show the world that as trans people, we are just as deserving as anyone else to have a life full of love and joy and happiness.
100%.
Yeah.
Let's go to a track. I was like, while y'all are listening to this track, how about while you're all having to listen to this song, have a think about what your next steps might be, and that might even just be like signing a petition, going to a protest. It can be contacting that trans friend of yours that you haven't seen in a while and checking in and seeing how they're doing, because stuff's rough at the moment.
I'm thinking about you, just thought about you.
Yeah, and I think that's really important.
Yeah. Agreed.
You're listening to Tranzmission on 4ZZZ.
It's the government's job to protect Australia's forest and bushland, but under the Albanese government, there's been 1 million hectares of deforestation in Queensland. Doesn't seem like they're doing a top-notch job. The Albanese government is about to change Australia's nature law. While this might seem like telling them how to suck eggs, we expect laws that actually work to protect nature by closing deforestation loopholes and protecting threatened species. It's literally their job. Head to wilderness.org.au/suck eggs to learn more. Proud sponsors of 4ZZZ.
My name is Ray. I use they, them pronouns, and you're listening to Tranzmission on 4ZZZ 102.1 FM. I'm really excited to be airing an interview that I did earlier this week with Ori Diskett, who is a writer, editor, sex worker and law student here in Meanjin. And Ori has recently started Transitive Rag, aka Trans Rag, which is a quarterly magazine of trans writing and art based here in Meanjin. Issue 1 was released on the 17th of October, and submissions are now open for issue 2. So if you want to check out Transrag, it's trans-rag.com. And if you do want to see the journal thrive, you can also support them on that page as well. And check it out, because there's some incredible trans writing and there's some really intense, beautiful pieces, as well as some it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry. It's absolutely wonderful. So this is my chat with Ori Diskett. Would you like to introduce yourself and a bit more about yourself?
Hi, I'm Ori Diskett. My pronouns are he, she, and I'm a writer, editor, and most recently law student from Meanjin, Brisbane.
Amazing. And I'm so excited to be chatting with you today because we are talking about the newly released Transitive Rag.
We are.
And tell me a bit about Transitive Rag, or as the cool kids call it, Trans Rag.
Trans Rag, yeah. Which is a completely intentional shortening. Transitive Rag is a new literary magazine, or rag, I'm calling it, because queers love to reclaim pejorative terms, so I've reclaimed the word rag because we're trashy. So Trans Rag is a online magazine of writing, mostly. There's a few pieces of art in there, lots of poetry, a little bit of personal writing, and in future issues we're looking at publishing all sorts of stuff, from fiction to interactive digital projects to audio projects to basically anything I can put on a website.
And when we're talking about what's up there at the moment, that's issue 1.
Issue 1.
Very first issue.
Absolutely. Issue 1 launched just recently in the middle of October. You can read it for free at trans-rag.com, but there is a link in there if you would like to contribute to help with the running costs and paying the writers. But yes, so it's trans-rag.com, or if you want to follow us on Instagram, it's trans.rag, because Instagram doesn't like dashes and websites don't like dots, so you work with what you've got.
I feel like those lines in and of itself is the start of a poem.
Yeah, look, everything's a poem. Everything's a poem.
I was like, everything's a poem. And I feel like some of the poetry that you've collected in Trans Rag is incredible, and like you were saying before about reclamation, especially with the word rag, I feel like a lot of the poetry in Trans Rag at the moment is, reclaims it. It's very, as one of the authors said, edgy.
Yes, yes. Very edgy, very, kind of out there, unhinged. As part of the initial submission call out, asking for contributors, I was very open about wanting things that are unhinged and, reclaiming trans slurs and reclaiming queer slurs. It's one of the few content warnings across the whole website is there's going to be reclaimed slurs here. And one of the things I said in the submission call out was, send me the things that straight people won't publish. Send me the things that you've had rejected from other publications or that you're finding difficult to get published. I think one of our contributors posted on Instagram about because you can submit up to 5 when you're submitting poetry. You can submit up to 5, and one of them said, "I sent 5 poems and Ori picked the most unhinged one." And I'm like, yeah,
it's like that's a good vibe. Yeah. And I feel like there's not enough journals around, like, you know, even though I think we've got not necessarily in Meanjin, but like, you know, Australia and worldwide, like a saturation of like especially new journals that want often like you know, marginalized voices is what they, you know, are keen on. But I do feel like when it comes to trans voices and specifically stuff that like as trans people we're writing that's very unhinged and edgy and the things that, you know, cis sensibilities can't handle, you know, having a journal like Trans Rag is so incredibly refreshing.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, like you say, there's lots of people trying to sort of do the same thing I'm doing, which is carve out a bit of space and, you know, launch a new publication. But often people, I think I see a lot of folks trying to, you know, you want to have a big readership, you want to get it out there. And a lot of that is respectability issues of, you know, being respectable of sensibilities. In my mind, it's an oxymoron to say we want marginalized voices, but also then choosing the things that are respectable and the things that are in line with sensibilities, because the whole idea of respectability politic is defined by the mainstream and is defined by voices that aren't marginalized. And so I very much wanted to, try and carve out that space, and that's why it's called a rag at the end of the day, is I'm playing with that boundary between, you know, depending on who I'm talking to about it, I pitch it either as a literary journal or as a trash rag, because you know that it's both and it's neither, and it's
which is with gender in itself. And I feel like the presentations that we often have to put on where it's like, oh, in this workplace, oh yes.
If I want to get some publicity in a particular outlet, I need to put on the literary journal equivalent of a monkey suit and you know, be respectable for a moment. But then, you know, the trans folks, particularly the contributors, I think that there's some things on there that there's one piece of art in particular that's so unhinged, and I couldn't explain to you why it's trans, but it is, and particularly trans feminine, and there's these representations of trans culture, and I think that's so much of it is, you know, and we've spoken a bit about why it's called a rag, but it's called transitive on purpose as well. I mean, not just because the word trans is in it, but because, you know, I think trans art is transitive. It does something to you. It's like a transitive verb. It's doing something to something else. And it doesn't just exist in a vacuum, because we, like, our art as queer people is how we pass on our culture. You know, we don't get to pass culture on, aside from very few of us, from parent to child, or, you know, because we're distributed and we crop up in any family. Unlike a lot of marginalized identities, it's not passed down through generations, it's passed down through art and culture. So I think the transitive nature of it was important as well.
It comes back to like what you were saying before about carving out space and like that kind of, you know, being really intentional about that. And I think you've gone about that in a really expansive kind of way, especially with like the creatives who have been chosen to represent their work, and, you know, the website itself and the, you know, how accessible it is. What did it kind of take to put it all together, and like, you know, also where did the idea come from?
Look, I mean, I don't know that I can point to a single a sort of inciting incident of why, you know, where the idea came from, but it kind of grew over time as I was, you know, getting some publications of my own. I mean, I've been a professional writer and editor for quite a while, but only had like creative publications of my own more recently. And part of that was, seeing how difficult it is to get published, and how often when, like, if I have something published that is about being trans, I've usually been a bit more conservative with it, and I've usually been a bit more I tend to only get to share the really unhinged stuff at like poetry nights and that kind of thing, because nobody's vetting what I'm going to say on the microphone before I stand up, so I can just let my little unhinged trans heart sing.
Because I feel like journals are often like, you can be trans, but you got to write about trees or something.
Yes.
No shade to trees, but you know.
No, and for sure, like I had a poem published last year that was exactly that, or earlier this year, I should say, that was exactly that was about being trans, but it was also about nature, and it was about the landscape, and and I think a lot of the time as well there is a expectation that trans art is about trans trauma, and which isn't to say that that's not something we write about. In fact, there is a gut-wrenching poem about trans deaths towards the end of the issue that I think I cried when I first read it. It's just phenomenal. But I also want to focus on trans joy. I also want to focus on the positive and the comfort and exhilaration and euphoria that comes from being trans, because I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, and so that's the stuff I wanted to share and to put a spotlight to. And so yeah, putting the issue together was a challenge in that way, and I absolutely had to send rejection emails to so many phenomenal writers, and that was one of the hardest. That was the hardest thing in this whole process. You know, I started off being so terrified that nobody would submit, and then when people were submitting, I went, oh no, I'm gonna have to reject so many good contributors. And part of that is, like, so little of that is to do with that writer's writing. It's to do with balancing out the issue. And, you know, it's such a cliche when anyone listening who's a writer will know, you get the email that's like, we couldn't fit you in this issue. We just couldn't fit. But that's exactly what it was like, was trying to, get that balance and trying, I guess, to take the reader on a journey as well. You know, I was trying to think of what order I would put them in as I was selecting the pieces, and part of that was leading people on this journey through that kind of takes like, had the issue itself has a bit of a narrative.
And I think it's also like really for practical reasons as well, because like there's a lot of literary journals out there that don't pay, whereas Transrag does. And so there is that kind of, you know, like in terms of like the nuts and bolts, there is a budget that you've got to adhere to.
And to be frank, I went over budget. I initially budgeted for 10 to 12 pieces and then ended up accepting 15. And, you know, we don't pay a huge amount. We pay an honorarium that's not reflective of the creative energy and time that people put into these pieces. It was important to me, I guess, in an ethical sense, to pay something, that there is that flow of consideration of what's, you know, valuable, and showing that we value these people's contributions, even if I can't pay as much as I would like to.
And I feel like it's like whenever I'm in a cafe and I'm there to write a poem, hey, at least that honorarium last time is paying for my coffee. Right, I don't know, exactly. It feels like some kind of trans reciprocity. We're like,
exactly.
You know, we don't have a lot of money, but we're doing our best.
I've received small honoraria for my publications, and then I'm redistributing that out to other people, and you know, obviously looking forward to future issues and hoping to be able to expand and to pay more. But at the moment it's absolutely just a small budget out of my own pocket. And so, you know, part of that was trying to make sure I found the best cost options for like web hosting and the platform we use and that sort of thing, because I needed to make sure that the money was going to the contributors over, you know, some huge like internet corporation.
And I was going to say, if people do want to send like a little bit of money to the Transrag kitty, where can they go to do that?
So there's a link on the webpage. So on trans-rag.com, there's the sort of table of contents comes up second. You'll see, I do recommend, if you're interested in reading hop on your laptop or even like an iPad or something, because it's designed to feel a bit more like a magazine, and so it looks a lot better in that landscape format. But there's a link in a little box, and then I think I've repeated that same link further down in my editor's foreword, and that's essentially a pay what you can if you can with different price points, and that's just kind of optionally paying for your edition.
Yeah, a nice little tip jar.
Exactly.
And yeah, we'll put all of that information in the show notes as well. If people want to submit to the second issue, what can they? How can they do that? And like, what kind of? Do you know what kinds of things you're looking for, or is it just vibes based at this point?
Yeah, so I'm not theming issues in like some publications will say this. They announce a theme for an issue. I want to keep it fairly open. If you head to trans-rag.com and scroll down, the submission link is right next to that tip jar link, and that'll tell you everything you need to know to send a submission. But we publish quarterly, so we've got the next issue will be coming out in January. The submissions have literally just opened, so if you've got something ready to go, you can send it to me right now, but it'll be open for another few weeks. Just check those submission page for the deadline, and send me your good shit, send me your most unhinged stuff. I want to read everything, and so there's no real theme, but often I find a theme emerges, I guess, from the collective unconscious sort of thing, what people are thinking about, what people are writing about at a particular time. So I
think so long as submissions are coming from people who are trans, that's
precisely, and I have I have a very broad inclusive view of transness. Includes any kind of non-binary, any kind of,
Well, it includes a piece of art that's got Garfield in it, and I don't know why it's, as you said, don't know why that's trans, but it's wonderful.
That was my favourite alt text I've ever written for an image was that piece, Lyra Gaunt's piece called Hello World. And it's just I think a line in the alt text is literally everything in the room is Garfield. If you can tell me why that's trans, please do, because it is, but I can't explain why.
Because, I would have expected Blur High, but, I'm on board with it,
Right. It's wild, and I absolutely don't feel, if anyone's listening, if you're a musician, if you're if you make audio soundscapes, if you write interactive fiction in Twine, if you, whatever you do, if I can stick it on a website, shoot me an email. If you're unsure, I'm always happy to have a chat. And you can also message the Instagram as well as an alternative way to get in touch. And always happy to speak to new folks and excited to see what people are going to send me for issue 2.
I'm so pumped. I'm really excited to see issue 2. And also, if you haven't read issue 1 while you've been listening to this interview, and if you want to know more about Transrag, head to trans-rag.com. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you for having me, Ray.
Thank you, Ori. Hello. My name is Ray. I use they, them pronouns, and you're listening to Tranzmission on 4ZZZ. I'm very excited that we got to chat with Ori Diskett of Transrag on this show, and you'll be able to listen back to that interview and the whole episode on the 4ZZZ website, and also on our podcast.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
You can check out all of the Tranzmission episodes on both all the streaming platforms. You can even go to the Community Radio Plus app and listen back to episodes there too. You can check out Tranzmission trans with a Z.radio on Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. Follow us. You can also support 4ZZZ, which is our mothership that beams us out across the airwaves. You can support 4ZZZ by subscribing to it with an annual subscription. Head to 4ZZZ.org.au/support. Select something, whether you're a pet or you're not a pet, or whether you're an under 18, you want a passionate subscription, you want t-shirts, there's so many options. Go check it out.
Yeah, I was like, if you are a cat girl, can you put yourself down as a pet?
Absolutely.
Yeah, go off. Well, there you go. Get on it.
Yeah, why not? I know people who subscribe their genitals as pets. So whatever, do what you like.
Oh my goodness!
I just watched you blink through like 3 times.
Yeah, I don't know why I was surprised. It's 4ZZZ, and also like we're on Tranzmission. I'm like, why did I not expect this? And also, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, why not? Subscribe, support the station. We love it.
We love the station. We love 4ZZZ, and we love that we have Tranzmission. It's so beautiful.
Me too.
I went into a survey the other day and came out, and I was like, "What happened? How have I got 5 things?"
Oh my god! What's your go-to snack at the servo? Do you have like a go-to thing?
Within reasons, usually it's some kind of chocolate bar.
Okay, I'm usually like a Powerade of some kind.
Oh yeah, you gotta. Yeah.
Either health or mana. You know, the blue one or the health.
Oh yeah. You got the really pink. There's a pink trans one that everyone loves.
There's a pink trans one?
Yeah,
there's so many trans things.
Well, I think everything that's pink is trans, so I think that just might actually be my brain.
You got like rose-tinted glasses on.
Literally. It's like, all I think about is pink. Oh my goodness. On that note, someone in the station just walked past in a pink shirt, so go off. See? Pink, embrace pink.
We're everywhere.
Oh my God, yeah, trans people, we're everywhere.
You'll turn
Pink
around, you'll see us
enthusiasts.
hanging off the walls.
We're everywhere. I'm also going to be back next Tuesday from 9 o'clock on 4ZZZ.
Thank you so much for listening to Tranzmission. See you next Tuesday, 9 to 10 a.m. on 4ZZZ.